All right. So you've just delivered amazing content in your video. Maybe you told a story. Maybe you shared something just like mind blowing, right? And you get towards the end and you're like, okay, time to end. Time to wrap this up. And then your mind goes, oh, what do I say? What do I say? How do I wrap this up? How do I end this? Oh my gosh, I didn't plan for this. So what do you keep doing? You just keep talking and talking while you're trying to think frantically of how to end your video. Am I right? Who's been there? This, my friends, is what you are going to learn today. Okay, so today's training, welcome to those of you that haven't been to a Tuesday training before. We had so many new people join with the Go Live Challenge last month. This may be your first Tuesday training. So every Tuesday I go live at the same time, same place, and I'll teach you something. You learn something new, something that will help you make your videos even better. Slowly but surely over time, you're going to master this. So today we're talking about how you close your video. How do you end it? How do you wrap it up? What do you do at the end? Instead of that awkward moment of cringeworthy, how do I stop? What do I say? How do I wrap it up? Or just that awkward, okay, thanks, bye. Yeah, that's what you're going to learn today. We're going to talk about that. I'm so excited. It's going to be awesome. All right. So for those of you that are on, whether you're on with me live or you are watching the replay, is the struggle real here? Is this a real challenge? Like, I would love to know, yes or no. I struggle with ending, with wrapping up, with closing, or no, I got it down. I have no problem. Yes or no. Give me a yes or no in the comments so I kind of know what we're dealing with. And if you're watching on replay, don't worry. I'll come and engage with you after the fact, no matter when you're watching this. So is closing or ending your video a challenge? Yes or no? That's what we're looking for today. I know for me personally, this is hard for me. It is my nemesis. It is the part of every single video that I struggle with. Exactly what I have described so far. It's that moment of, how do I wrap it up? What do I end? What do I say? And I know for me, if I don't plan it, I'm going to be in trouble. I'm going to spin and spin and spin until I figure out how to, as unawkwardly as possible, wrap it up and end. And so what we want to talk about today, or what you're going to learn today, is how to do that gracefully. But not only that, but how to do it with intention and purpose and power behind what it is that you say. Okay? That's what you're going to learn today. So unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective here, it is about planning. It requires some level of planning. I know, what a bummer to start today's training with, but you got to plan it, even if it is nothing more than a Post-it note. Grab a Post-it note and at least figure out how you're going to start and how you're going to end your video. You will thank me if this has ever happened to you. Okay. It's that whole, what is that cliche or sentence or thought? Begin with the end in mind. I don't even know who said that. But that's what we're talking about here. Before you even say a word, think about how you're going to end. And when you do, you won't have that moment of, oh, this is awkward and uncomfortable. Okay. You know where you are going, and that's what matters. Okay. So what you have learned with me, if you were part of the Go Live Challenge, or if you've been with me for any amount of time, and if you're brand new, you're learning it right now, is that there is a very quick 3-step model. Hook, story, call to action. I have done a number of videos where this is the only structure I put into place. I start with something that grabs attention. I tell a story or I share my content, and then I end with a call to action. This works. This is effective, but I want to make it better. I want to show you where you can go from here. And that is, oh, where's my marker? Hold on. That is what comes after this call to action. That's where the close goes. I use this paper over and over. I don't want to write in it. I use it so many times. I don't want to have to rewrite it because, you know, paper is a premium around here. Goodness sakes. All right. So let's do it this way. The close goes here. Hook, story, call to action, close. Okay. It is, if you will, the frosting on the cake. It's the last thing you do. But in my opinion, the frosting's the most important part. It's the best part. You may disagree with me, and that's okay. There are different parts of this process that are important. They're all important. Today, we're focusing on why this one is important and what it does for you and for your audience. Okay. So, okay, let's do another question. Let's get some engagement going here. How many of you plan your videos? So do me a favor in the comments, again, whether you're live with me or you're watching on the replay. Yes, I plan. No, I don't plan. Type in the comments. I just want to see how many planners we got and how many I just am off the cuff flying by the seat of my pants. I could never do that. I try and it's often train wreck. So tell me, which are you? Which of the two ways of planning? Are you a planner and you like to plan stuff, or you like to fly by the seat of your pants? Okay, so we've got one plan. Carolyn is a plan. Nice to see you, Carolyn. Awesome. I love it. I am the same. What else we got? Plan or no plan? Which are you? Because I'm going to turn you into at least a little bit of a planner today. Just a little bit. Like I said, even if it's just a Post-it note. Okay. Okay. Barbara says, I don't plan and I don't plan. Okay. So we've got no planners than planners. Okay. Why? What is it about planning that you don't like or dislike or messes with your flow in some way? I would love to know so we can talk about it. So comment, share why you don't like to plan. Are you at least willing to say, okay, I'll plan at least how I'm going to start and how I'm going to end my video? Can you at least agree to plan that much? Don't know where to start. Oh, you don't know where to start with the planning. Very interesting. All right. Well, here you go. Start with this. Here's your plan. Hook, story, call to action. And today we're talking about close. It can be this simple. I will literally, if I'm doing a 5-minute live, I will take out my Post-it notes. Usually I take bigger ones. And I will write out, how am I going to start? What's my hook? Story, what's my call to action? And now you're going to learn your close. There's a very simple, easy way to plan. Okay. What is important in planning this is, well, actually think about it like this. Think about it like this. You've just delivered an awesome video. You've blown people's minds. And maybe that's too strong of a word, but let's just run with me on this. Okay. You've given your viewers something. You've taught them something. They've learned something. We're going to get into call to action. There's a question about what is CTA. We're going to talk about that today. Barbara says she's getting better at planning. I like it. Okay. So I want you to imagine this. You've just delivered a video. You've gone live. You're in the middle of it. You have just given somebody some great content. You've taught them something. You've opened their minds. You've given them some perspective, whatever it is, right? There's magic in that moment. You have to recognize that in that moment, they want some sort of wrap up, some sort of, so what, now what, right? You just went, but if you don't help them apply it, if you don't help them take the next step, it can go in one ear and out the other. And that's not what you want. You want them to do something with what they just have gotten from you. Okay. This is the opportunity that presents itself in front of you. Okay. So what you are going to do is, if I can get my pages out right. Okay. This is the whole process, but we're just going to look at the end part. Okay. So you've covered your content. You're going to want to do a review. Maybe not. Okay. The reason you would want to do a review is if this has been a long video. If this is a quick 2, 3, 5-minute video, you probably don't need to review because you just covered it. But if I've been talking for 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, your viewers might not remember everything. So you want to do some sort of a quick review. I always say 2 or 3 things that you want them to remember out of everything that you shared. That's what you do in the review. It's also a perfect time if you're going to take questions. Preface the review. Okay, I'm going to do a quick review. If you have questions, now's the time to put them in the comments. Type your questions in the comments and I'll answer them. The reason you do this way is that maybe when you're doing the review, you'll answer their question. Or maybe you will inspire questions. Now, what a lot of mistakes people make is that they do questions at the end. Now, it is at the end in general, but if it is the last thing you do, why would that not be a good idea? Why would you not want to end your video by taking questions? Anybody got any guesses? Any thoughts? We're about to talk about it. For those of you that are on replay, don't fast forward, don't get the answer, and then really think about this. Why would it not be a good idea to take questions as the very last thing that you do. What thoughts do you have on this? Waiting. There's always a delay. Tell me, please. Barbara. Oh my gosh, I love you. Tell me, please. You want to know. Okay. Does this mean you think it is a good idea? I'm guessing that's what that means. Okay. Here's why it's not a good idea. You can't control the questions. You can't control the questions. Now, that could mean a couple of different things. The questions could take you off on a tangent. They could take you in a completely different place than where you're wanting to go. It sidesteps you, if you will. Now, that doesn't mean that that's not a question that you want to answer, but it's not how you want to end your video. You want to end your video with you being in control of what the message is at the very end. Okay, so that's one aspect. They can take you off. They can ask you a question about something unrelated. It happens all the time. Still answer the question, but where you take those questions matters. Okay, I'll come back to that. The other thing that it can do is that you don't know what questions are going to be asked, and they could be negative. That's not that a negative question is a bad thing. I'm not suggesting that at all. You want those questions to come out because that's how you help people answer the question. It's how you help them overcome obstacles or challenges or whatever else it is. They're good, but it can leave a lasting impression that you might not want. Okay. So what I always say is your questions go after your content, but before you close and wrap up your video. That's where you stick them. Okay. So you do your content, you do a quick review, you take questions, and now here comes the magic. Here is the magic way. Okay. You are going to do a call to action, and then you're going to have final words. Those are the last two steps. You control these. You decide what you're going to say. So let's talk about call to action first. For some of you, if you've done the Go Live Challenge with me, this is a bit of a review. Hang with me. We'll get to the close. For those of you that this is completely new to, welcome to Awesome Sauce. Okay. Okay. So what I want you to consider is that you have delivered mind-blowing content. I'm going to assume that it's mind-blowing content, okay? You've gifted your audience something. You've given them something. You've given them a gift. Maybe it's knowledge, maybe it's insight, maybe it's whatever, but you've given them something. You need to recognize and realize that you have earned the right to ask for something. And a CTA is call to action. Call to action. Yes, that can be salesy. It can be, absolutely. But it can also be about application of what was learned. In fact, what I tell everyone to do is have a call to action and mix it up. You don't want every single call to action to be exactly the same on everything, every post, every video. You just sound like a broken record. You want to have different calls to action on different things. If you're doing videos, if you do one video a week, every single video in that month should have a different call to action. But here's the key. Not only do you need to mix it up, but here's the most important part. One, you only get one call to action. Why might I say only one? Those of you that have heard this before, this would be like a test. This is like an assessment. Why only one call to action? What do we think here? You guys are liking the call to action. I love it. I love the comments. Why only one? Why do you think it's only one call to action? Anybody got a guess? Anybody know the answer? Could go either way. Either way, we're going to wait until some comments come in. So I'll just keep tap dancing around this until I see some answers. Maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know. Okay, so Carolyn says, oops. So they do it. Ooh, I like this one. So not to sound desperate. Oh, I love that. Too many things makes it confusing. You are all right. You are all right. Okay, if I were to end this video, I'm not. Just for sake of argument, I'm not ending this video. I'm pretending. This is pretend. Okay, if I were to end this video and be like, okay, everybody, thanks for being here. I need you to follow me. And then I want you to click on the link below and then book a call. And then while you're at it, message me. And would you share this with everybody else? And then follow me on YouTube because I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. And what else? Oh, I'm going to do a workshop at the end of the month. So, sign up for that. How are you feeling right now? maybe overwhelmed, maybe like, goodness, enough. It's too much, right? So as Sandy said, it makes it confusing. And as Barbara said, it overwhelms your audience. Okay, there's something called the law of diminishing return, which means if I present you with lots of options, that scenario, people won't do any of it because they don't know what to do. Whereas if I give you one thing, you got more chances of people are going to actually do that one thing. Now, I know what you're thinking in this moment. You're thinking, but I want them to do all the things. Yes, you do. And that's why you mix it up and rotate them. So one video you're asking for this, one video you're asking for something else. You mix it up and you change it up based on what you want them to do. Okay. So mix it up, one thing. Now, the question always is, and honestly, let's go back to this. It sounds desperate. Yeah. Didn't that sound a little desperate for me when I was like saying, do this and do that and do this and do this and please do this? And desperate for sure. Definitely too much. You guys got it. You got it. Okay. Now let's talk about what you ask for. Okay. Yes, you can absolutely ask for join my Facebook group or click on this link and book a session or download my freebie or whatever one thing you want them to do. Yes, you can do that and you should do that. You should be promoting your things. But not every video, just like not every post, needs to be about promotion and sale. Sometimes it is just simply about application. Okay. So if you are teaching something in a video, it might not feel natural to you to pitch something unrelated or talk about something unrelated. Although I would argue that we should probably be doing that, but that's for another video. That's for another training. Okay. Sometimes your call to action can simply be, what did you learn today? Type me in the comments and tell me what you learned today. There's your one. Okay. Or it could be, what did you learn today that you are going to apply? This is what I was talking about earlier, where you give them this awesome stuff. And if you don't help them apply it, it goes in one ear and out the other. So I always have something in my back pocket. And by that, I mean, if I, for whatever reason, I forget to do my Post-it notes and I forget to do my planning, and I get to the end of my video and I go, oh, what am I going to do? How do I end this? I always got something in my back pocket that I can pull out. And those are the two. What did you learn today? And, or it's not both, or how are you going to apply what you learned today? Okay. That's your call to action. It is about what next step do they take in helping them do something with the content that you just shared. Okay. All right. So what are some other calls to action? I never know if it's calls to action or call to actions. It could go either way. So I'm just going to say CTAs. What other CTAs have you used? What are some good CTAs? Let's start a list so that people who are new to call to actions can maybe get some inspiration from us. Okay. So what CTAs have you used or are you thinking about as we're talking about CTAs? Let's create a list. What would you share? I've shared a bunch. Some of the easy ones, I'll give you some easy ones. If you like this video, be sure to give me a heart below. If you like this video, share it with a friend, tag a friend. Remember, those are all separate and distinct calls to actions. You don't want to do all of them. You're doing one. Okay. The other thing that I'll say is you guys are typing other CTAs is that doesn't mean that you don't have some sort of engagement strategy or action plan during your video. You can have multiples of those during the course of your video. Like right now, I'm asking you all to do something. I'm asking you to say, what calls to action could you use or would you use or have you used? That's helping you apply what you're learning right now, but I'm not at the end of my video, not yet anyway. Those are okay. I'm specifically talking about the very, very end. What is the number one action you want them to take? Okay? Okay. Okay. I'm not seeing any comments on this. So maybe this is all new to you guys, and that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay. I won't push you other than to say, give this some thought. One of the cool things that you can do is come up with a whole list of calls to action that you can mix and mingle whenever you want. Okay. So Barbara says, join my Facebook group. Yes, this is a great one. Join my Facebook group. Okay. Okay. You ready to move on and talk about the close, the final words, the very last piece? Hope so. Okay. I want you to think about this. Like I talked earlier about the icing on the cake. It's the final step. I've also used the analogy of the bow on the package, right? You've wrapped the package, everything is perfect, you can put a bow on it. Just like you've baked the cake, frosting is what makes it, seals the deal, so to speak, okay? It is the lasting impression that you leave your viewers with. This is why you don't want a question at the end, because then that means the question controls the lasting impression. So what you want to consider is you really want to tap in to how you want that viewer to think or feel in order to take the action you just asked them to do. Okay. So we'll use Barbara's as an example. She said, join my Facebook group or download my freebie. Both are great ones. What do you have to get them to think or feel in order to download that freebie or to join the Facebook group? Think about that. That may give you some hints or some insights into what you use as your final words here in your closing. This is short and sweet. It is not 17 minutes long. It is a sentence or two. It is an emotional connection to whatever you may have covered elsewhere in your video. Maybe you started with something, you want to tap back into the emotion you covered here. Maybe there was a story that you tell and you want to connect back into that. Okay. That's what you're trying to achieve. It's almost like the best way that I can kind of sum this up is to think about it like this. If there's one thing you got out of this video today, here's the one thing I want you to take away. Here's the lasting impression. I've actually used those words before. Okay. So it sounds something like this. I'm covering my content. Oh, that's going great. And I will say, all right, if you liked what you saw today, I would love for you to join my Facebook group because I do more training over inside that Facebook group. And there's just so much more for you to engage in. That's my call to action. Okay? But I tied it into, if you got something from today, if you learned something from today, then take this action. And then my final close might be something like, well, let's just say, let me think here. I've got to think of an example. Let's say my video was on how to close. Okay. So I'm saying, here's how you close your video. My call to action is join my Facebook group. And my final close here might be something like, this is your opportunity, your final lasting opportunity to make not only a first impression, but a lasting impression so that people remember you. So you got to make it count. Boom, boom. There's your close. It's that short and sweet. It's just a connection point that kind of sums up what you've covered and ties into what do you want me to do here. Okay. So now that we've covered all of this, let's do a quick review and see what questions you have. So I'm going to model this for you as we actually truly wrap up this video. Okay. So while I am reviewing everything that we've covered today, I want you to think about other questions that you have on this subject and type them in the comments, and I will make sure that I take your comments or take your questions. Okay. All right. So what have we learned today? Most important thing that we have learned today is that you have to plan just a little bit, even if it's just grabbing a Post-it note and planning out how you're going to close. Okay. You want to do your questions with your review right after your content and not at the end, because you want to control that final lasting impression. You are going to have a single call to action, only one, for all of the reasons we talked about today. And you're going to mix it up. You don't want it to always be the same. And then you're going to end with some amazing words that make people feel something, make them have some emotion, and connect them and encourage them to take advantage of whatever next step you've given them. Okay, that's a lot. We covered a lot today. What questions do you have? I'm not seeing any in comments, so I'm going to assume you got this down and you're ready to start closing. Yes? Okay, you got a couple more minutes. If you got questions, get them in there. I will use this opportunity while you're thinking of questions to remind those of you that are in the Go Live League that we are going to go deeper into this close in particular. We're going to practice. We're going to do some. You're going to get to experiment, get my feedback. We are going to get you really darn good at closing. We have a call next Thursday. I'm looking at the calendar. We have a call next Thursday, the 17th, and it is at 2 Central Time. Okay, so join us. Do not forget, that's a good one. Probably the most important call out of all the calls in part of the Go Live League is to get really good at closing. For those of you that are not in the Go Live League, come and join us. Come and join us. If you want a link, just let me know. If you want to talk about it, if you've got questions, I'm happy to talk about it. Okay. I am not seeing any questions, but I do see some good positive comments. I like it. I learned a lot. Awesome. I like it very much. So my call to action for all of you. Oh, Hold on. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good. You're very welcome, Barbara. My call to action for you, apply what you've learned. I want you to actually practice planning and delivering a close. Now, every Monday, I give this group a topic prompt, a reason to go live, a topic to go live on. This week, it's National Smile Week. So somehow, some way or another, talk about smiling and how important it is to your business. That's just one idea. You can go live anytime this week as long as you're using that topic prompt. But what I want you to do is practice what you learned here today. Actually practice having a close. Because once you do it once, you're going to start to feel and realize, this is how this is supposed to go. This is why this works. And when people actually start taking advantage and actually giving you the one call to action you've asked them for, you're going to want to do it every single time, whether you are a planner or not. Hopefully, I have convinced you to be a planner. So that's your call to action. If there is anything else that you all need, I'm going to wrap us up here. Type them in the comments. I promise I will come back to the comments, especially those of you that are watching on the replay, and answer any of those questions that you might have. I just want to thank you all for being here with me today. We do this every Tuesday, same time, same place, and you're always going to learn something awesome that will help you be better on camera. Okay. This closing, this whole idea of how do I close my video is the frosting on the cake, the bow on the present, whatever analogy you want to use. It is the final step that dresses everything up, that makes people feel and think some sort of emotion so that they take the action that you want. I often liken it to, it's like your final chance to give me that warm, fuzzy feeling and connect with you in a really cool, unique way. So practice what you've learned. Thank you for being here. You guys are freaking awesome. Have a great week. I'll talk to you next time. Bye, guys. Bye.